I'm going to start a group of videos. I was thinking I should do the process, or my process, from start to finish. So from concept to completion of a finished piece. So I've been thinking about this piece for a while. It is the concept of hunger, or the concept of food is for everyone. I'm not sure exactly where I want to go with it. So I'm just going to start first thing in the morning. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper and I'm going to start drawing. I'm just going to put some basic concepts down. I'm not going to flesh them out too much. Just broad concepts. So, the first step is really just to brainstorm here. I'm thinking about what are the food staples? What are the staples of food? What do I want in this piece? So milk, bread, and eggs. And I'm not going to really worry about any basic design concepts. I'm not going to worry about balance, proportion, or any of that. I'm just going to start putting some basic design down, or basic concepts down. So I'm going to put a person here. Obviously that has to play into it somehow. And I'm not thinking too much. I'm just kind of letting the pen do the work for me at the moment. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of the things that I was thinking about through this was how does food have impact on us as individuals, our families? Inflation is a big thing right now, so having access to food is adequate. Access to food, a fundamental human right? Is it something that the government should be involved in? What does that look like? I'm gonna just put down some basic color. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Just thinking about it, trying to go through the basic concepts. So I'm gonna put another figure in here. Again, very flat. I'm not going to spend too much time. I just want some basic concepts. Somebody laying on their back here. Maybe hungry, maybe out of energy. They don't have food. When I was growing up, very lucky, grew up in a great home. We never worried for too much growing up, but I do remember one time my dad lost his job, and stressful time in my house. Now my parents tried to keep that from the kids as much as possible, but we would still overhear him at the dinner table talking about how they were going to pay the bills, how they were going to feed us. And although I never remember a day where we didn't have food at our table, I do remember thinking that it was scary that maybe we would not. My dad eventually got a job and we never really had to worry about it, but it was 4 or 5 months that we were in that predicament. And I was young, maybe 8 years old, but I do remember that pretty vividly. So with the economy the way it is, and with food and inflation going up, I think about that often for families in the lower middle class that are trying to pay their bills and feed their families. So what does that look like? How does that affect us overall? And from an ethical perspective, do we need to ensure equitable access to food for everyone? Absolutely. I think that's a basic human right. But how does that look, or what does that look like as a whole? So food is for everyone, right? Food is for you. So I'm just going to put some basic, again, brainstorm ideas down. There's not a lot of premeditation here. It's just a brainstorm. I like to label things, so bread, life, milk, eggs. I labeled a lemon over there. When I was a kid, we always had the milk with the handles on the jugs, so I put a handle on here, even though that is a glass milk carton. I'm going to actually draw a hole in this guy's stomach, and I'm going to bring that portion of the body up here, kind of as a blowout. This is going to be the exterior piece of him, and food goes in here. So we'll just kind of draw some lines to access. There you go, all the food into the box or the stomach. I thought about this earlier. I think it would be super ironic to have a pie chart of hunger. How does that concept work? What's in the pie chart? Do we put food? Do we put basic human rights? Access? I'm not sure. I'm just gonna kind of throw a few things in here for now, brainstorming, but I do like how ironic a pie chart for hunger is overall. So I'll label this a pie chart. We'll frame this out a little bit. I don't know, what do we say here? All in, maybe? I don't know what that means. All of what in? Another thing that we can do is, I kind of want to blow that out, make that a little bit bigger in here. Before I do that, I'm going to outline this box. I think I'm going to make this into more of a feeder. So kind of like a cat or dog food feeder. That's what this is going to be, but instead of food, we're going to put needs in here. Food is a basic human need. How does that work? And then give it a little antenna with some Wi-Fi. Is that for access coming in, or maybe it's sending something out? And right here, I want to put a watermelon, but I'm going to do a watermelon that is a pie chart. So put that in the background, kind of a food concept. But let's do the piece out here. This pen is just not really flowing well, but again, I'm not worried about it. We're using pen and marker, just whatever is around. I'm not too worried about this piece right here. It is just brainstorm. So I did read a statistic, 17% of the children in the United States right now do not have enough access to food. 17% is way too much for a first world country. So I'll put that in here. Let's fill out this piece. And actually, I know I'm doing this in gold at the moment, but I do want it to be a watermelon, so I'm going to outline this. I'm going to color it in with red and green here in a second. Label it watermelon. Why not? Maybe add a few dots there. We'll color it in a little bit. Again, what's our obligation to hunger, to food, to giving people access to that food? Do we as individuals have that obligation? Do we as a society? Do we as a government? How do we give people that fundamental access to food that they need? So I'm going to circle this guy a little bit. I thought maybe put him in a sack or a stomach. So he's the one being digested. Is he being digested or is he being eaten? And in this stomach, what else do we want to put in here? I'll put a little funnel on the top here. What else goes inside with him? Let's put a little bit, let's put some liquid going in. I'll do water or milk, doesn't really matter. Also put food, but instead of natural foods, we eat boxed foods. So we're gonna put cubed units of food. Maybe underlying the unnatural way that hunger affects us as a society. Let's label this stuff. What does this look like? I'm not sure. Again, basic concept here. I'm just doing a quick drawing, 10 minutes. I want to get some concepts down. Once this is down, I'm actually going to take a deep breath, look at it for a while. I'll move some things around, but that's the basic concept.